Hello everyone, and welcome back to Making the Chase. In the previous episode of this series, we saw Dale Earnhardt retain his 1990 championship. However, it would only be his second championship in this timeline. So today, we're going to cover the 1991 season, a year that saw Dale Earnhardt win the championship. So, would Earnhardt keep his 1991 title, or would another driver swoop in and take it away? We will find out in this week's edition of Making the Chase. Heading into the chase, 7 drivers had already guaranteed their spot. These drivers were defending champion Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd, Ernie Irvan, Davey Allison, Mark Martin, Darrell Waltrip, and Ken Schrader. In the bubble battle, we had 5 drivers aiming for 3 spots. Rusty Wallace was in 8th, 88 points above the cut. In 9th was Sterling Marlin, who was 80 points up, and 10th was Harry Gant, who had a 7-point advantage over Bill Elliott, and Michael Waltrip was in 12th, 58 points away from 10th. In the cutoff race at Michigan, Wallace and Marlin both just needed solid top 15 days, and they would do just that, locking themselves into the chase. Michael Waltrip had a decent day, but just wasn't on the level of the other contenders, and he would end up missing the chase. So that left Harry Gant and Bill Elliott, 2 former champions, going for the final spot in the chase. After a long day that saw both drivers at the front at one point, it would be Bill Elliott getting the best of Harry Gant, finishing 5th, while Gant finished 6th. However, this wasn't enough for Bill Elliott to get in, and Harry Gant would squeak into the chase by 2 points over Bill Elliott, and with this race in the books, the chase field for 1991 was set. In the regular season of 1991, it was largely dominated by Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt took the lead after the 9th race of the season at Talladega and never looked back. He followed his lead-capturing weekend with 6 consecutive top 7 finishes, 4 of which being podiums. After race 15 at Daytona, Earnhardt was sitting on an almost 150-point lead over Ricky Rudd with 4 races left in the regular season. But in those last 4 races, Earnhardt started to stumble. In the next race at Pocono, he was involved in an accident before the halfway point, finished 22nd. But he would bounce back in the next race at Talladega, winning. But he would follow this up with a 15th place at Watkins Glen and a 24th in the regular season finale at Michigan. So heading in, Earnhardt, while not looking bad, he looked beatable. In the opening race of the chase at Bristol, a non-chase driver in Alan Kulwicki would win, with the highest finishing chase driver being Sterling Marlin in 2nd. But after this race, Ricky Rudd would take a slim 4-point lead over Earnhardt. In the next race at the Southern 500, kicking off the month of September, subtle foreshadowing, Ken Schrader would take the points lead by 12 points over Dale with a 3rd place finish. In race 3 at Richmond, Schrader would maintain his lead with an 8th, but his lead was now 16 points over Harry Gant, who had just won his 2nd consecutive race. In the 4th race of the chase at Dover, Gant would win his 3rd consecutive race and would take the points lead by 47 points over Ricky Rudd. In the next race at Martinsville, Harry Gant would do something historic by becoming only the 8th driver to accomplish this feat, by winning 4 in a row. But this would give Gant a 90-point lead over Ricky Rudd. And halfway through the chase, Harry Gant went from being 9th after the first race to claiming the points lead with his iconic 4-race win streak. But the question was, could anyone combat Gant's win streak and overtake him in the standings? In race 6 at North Wilkesboro, Gant finished 2nd and his lead flatlined to 90 points, this time being over Dale Earnhardt. In race 7 at Charlotte, Dale Earnhardt's championship bid would come to an end.
Trouble. That looks like it could be all for number 3, Dale Earnhardt.
Whenever those things break something inside like he did earlier, they're just setting each lap self-destructing, and it looks like the fuse has went to the end of that thing. They might be able to do something, I don't know what.
Well, that changes the situation once again as we get ready for Rocky Animal in Phoenix. Randy Pemberton is down there in the Earnhardt pits.
Well, that's it. The hood went up and it went right down again. Dale Earnhardt has definitely taken the GM Goodrich to his Chevrolet. He came over the radio and said that he thought it blew up. It definitely locked up the engine. We'll get a word with him right here in just a moment.
305 laps complete as Earnhardt goes behind the wall. Dale Earnhardt in the final moments of the Mellow Yellow 500 has bad luck another time here at Charlotte.
Earnhardt had an engine failure and finished 25th, while Harry Gant finished 4th, and Gant's lead was now an almost insurmountable 157 points. It would now take a miracle for someone to beat Gant. But in race 8 at Rockingham, Gant finished 2nd while Earnhardt finished 7th. and Gant now had a 191-point lead. In the penultimate race of the season at Phoenix, all Gant had to do was finish the race 6th, and he would lock up the championship a week early. However, Gant would fail to do so.
And it's way back at 17th spot.
You know, Mike, the 5 cars run good all day long. Rudd's been running real good. Dale's car, even with the adjusting they've been doing, they haven't been able to help it. It's going to just take a while to see if he can get that thing any better, but they've been off all day long.
Trouble. Gant is around Brett Bodine. And Harry Gant.
Oh,
Marcus spins.
Richard Petty just
Larry Pearson got into Richard. Herschel McGriff is in it. And the last car in is Gary Collins out of California.
Gant was caught up in an accident not even 100 laps into the race, and finished 23rd while Earnhardt finished 9th, and Dale did just enough to keep himself in the championship battle, as he was now 147 points behind heading into the finale. All Gant needed to do at the finale at Atlanta was start the race. Could he do it? Let's find out.
Look at the tremendous crowd on hand here today. The green flag is out and we are underway with the Hardee's 500.
Now, not only did Gant start the race, but he would finish the season strong with a 4th place finish and his 2nd Winston Cup championship. So this would be the year of Mr. September. Harry Gant's iconic win streak would have been even more iconic had the chase been implemented this season. Just to think, Gant barely squeaked in. Remember how I said earlier he got in by 2 points? Also, he started off the chase in mediocre fashion, finishing 19th in the chase opener. But his 4-race win streak created a 179-point swing that ultimately won him the championship. The season for Gant would have also snapped a 6-year streak where he didn't make the chase. Gant is also our first champion to win from the 10 seed, which just goes to show that anyone can catch fire at any time and go on an insane run. I kind of compare this season to Tony Stewart's 2011 season. Both drivers were irrelevant and evidently struggled throughout the regular season, but somehow they both managed to squeak in and go on an insane run to claim the championship. Now, I know this series, for the 20 of you that consistently watch these, has been pretty boring for the most part, as we've only had a different champion in 5 of the first 17 seasons, but trust me guys, the 90s and early 2000s are pretty wild, so be sure to tune in for it, and if you're new, be sure to keep following along. But anyway, that's going to do it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 4,000 by the end of the year. Comment, thank you to my channel members, and I will see you next week for another video. Y'all have a good one.